morning. It's 12 o'clock.
It's afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are at the Gabfest yet again. It is Friday. And today is the originals.
First Friday.
Finally.
First Friday.
I must say, I was looking forward to it.
Yes. Back in the building.
So today is the first Friday, which means Jess is here today.
Hello, everybody.
I mean, first Friday is like every Friday. I'm just asking for a friend.
So then, Jess is on it, and the reason why we call ourselves the originals, because last year when we started the Gabfest, it was just the three of
Musketeers.
us.
We were here when nobody was here, but you guys were here.
You guys were here. You guys were supportive.
So thank you so much for joining, and Anks, you want to say hi? Jess, you want to say hi? I don't know, do you guys have to say hello every week?
We don't, because now, I feel the pressure of everyone expecting me to say something, and you know what? It's just furniture. Guys, it's not going to change. It's just furniture, and we agreed last week I'm not going to use that opening line. So yeah, no greetings from me today. Hi, guys.
I'll make the greetings for those that don't want to make the greetings. We are absolutely just heart-warmed and fuzzy that we are with you guys today.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to have a lot of live viewers today because I did not share the link, but
Have some faith.
we hope you know that it's 12 o'clock every Friday. So just jump on in if you're watching this, and bring a friend. We'd love for you to bring a friend.
And I'm sure they can watch it later, hey?
Yeah, they're watching later. But I just mean, like, next time, 12 o'clock.
It's
the gap.
Reason being, also, we want you to comment. We want you to interact. We want to hear what you have to say so that, we can also give our 2 cents on your 2 cents.
On your 2 cents, yes. And I think we have so many topics today. And when it's the three of us, we go on forever, right?
I'm not sure
We
we're gonna
do.
get that.
So, I think let's jump right into the
Go for
first topic. Okay. So, if you show the screen, let me just do this quickly. So,
Yeah.
if you look at the picture, right?
Censored.
It says, I am a very nice person. Oh gosh, that's me, sorry. I'm a very nice person, if you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I say, on the side, I put, I'm just transparent, right? So something happened to me. I don't want to say when exactly, so I'm going to say in the past month.
In the
So
past.
that nobody knows,
When,
nobody
what?
puts things together.
Okay.
But something happened to me, right?
Yeah.
And somebody made sure they always put me down in a room. Okay? So no matter what I would say, they make sure that your say doesn't have to
Goes
say.
to the bottom of the food chain.
So if you say something, I nip it in the bud before the whole sentence comes out of your mouth, kind of a thing. And then this very same person did something to me again and forgot. Like, let's say the three of us is sitting like this, and
We just
you're
supposed to be
asking
talking.
me the
Yeah.
question. I'm answering Anka, but I'm staring at Jess,
Okay.
right?
So there's no acknowledgement.
So there's
that
no
you're-
acknowledgement that I'm alive even.
Yeah.
And when it did come to the point of bringing it up a bit, the excuse was, I am a nice person, I'm just transparent. Okay. So the topic is basically, where does the term I'm transparent, I am who I am, what you see is what you get, when is it borderline rude? And you're using it as an excuse not to take responsibility for your rudeness, or you did say something that you know this hurts someone,
And you said it intentionally.
you said it intentionally, but when you are approached, why did you say that or something? I'm a transparent person. What you see is what you get. I have nothing to hide. I want to know from you guys, do you think there is such a thing as I am being transparent? Or do you think we use it as an excuse to say whatever the heck we want to say, and
To tell you off.
I am a nice person.
Yeah. I don't know. I think coming from my side, I've always had this thing where I wonder sometimes, what is the balance between people being transparent versus other people who are overly sensitive. So there's like the spectrum. There's transparent, I am who I am. We don't know if it's an excuse. Then there's the hypersensitive. No matter what you say, I'm gonna be offended. Like I'm gonna stake my fork and my flag, and I'm not gonna move here because you offended me. And then there's like all these, and then there's like this middle ground. I always wonder, where do we find that middle ground? All I know is that if the things you say continuously make people uncomfortable, and you know that what you're doing is a power move to dominate other people, then no matter how transparent you are, then that's toxic, and it is an excuse. Then that being said, sometimes I feel like God has gifted some of us with no mental filter when it comes to like censorship. You don't think what you're about to say, it just comes out. So it's quite a tricky one, Vanjay, but you can always, as a person, feel the undertone. Someone once said, actually, it's quite a common phrase. It's you could say something, Anka, I could say something to you like, I really don't like your top, but smile, and then we can laugh about it. But I can say, oh my word, I really don't like your top. What on earth were you thinking? It's almost like the energy
it's the
underneath.
You feel the energy undertone.
For me personally, I always say that it doesn't matter what narrative you drive, doesn't matter what it is. If it's so enforced and it's pushed to such an extent, it becomes lopsided, right? Meaning to say that if you're going to say, oh, no, I'm a very frank person, I'm a very honest person, there's boundaries. There's boundaries of certain things. There's certain things that you don't say. I still believe that there's still socially correct things to say. And you know when you do something in a certain way that it's offensive towards the person. And goodness, the politicians know this. There's a diplomatically correct way of saying something. You're still saying what you're saying, but you're just saying it appropriately. So for me, if you just don't like someone, you're going to put them off. If that's your personality in any situation. But here's the crux of it. You know when it's done. You'll come back. And then you're surprised why people are being funny with you. Then you're surprised why people are not answering your calls, or people are not responding to you the way they first, the initial meeting, they respond to you. And then you go back. Now you backtrack. Oh my goodness, did I do something? So even if you didn't realize it in the moment, you for sure realized it afterwards when you thought about it. And you know what? It cost you nothing to say, look, I did do this, and I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It really wasn't my intention, and I'm working on it or something. Then it becomes a different scenario that, yes, I am frank. However, I know that, there must be certain things tweaked at. Because life can't always be the way you want it. Life can't always be, no, I'm honest and it's just like that. So what happens if someone else is being honest to you? Are you going to be able to handle it?
And let's say your honesty does push somebody into a state where they question themselves. Is it okay to say I'm transparent? Even like you're saying, there's a way you feel the aura and you get sensitive people. And as women, majority of the times, even if we accept it in the moment, afterwards when you do sit back, you're like, but what was she actually trying to say when she said that? So you receiving that, how does that work? Like, so you're the one dishing it. Okay, we understand. But if you're the person receiving it also, how does that make you feel as a person? Because I can say, for me, I started questioning myself. I started asking myself, do I not have a say? I started saying what I want to say. Is it not important? Am I not addressing it properly? Is my sentence structure, don't they want my accent? Those kind of things. You start playing this whole thing in your mind. What's wrong with you?
My experience with stuff like that, and it's not for everyone. You don't get a cookie cutter mold and say, yeah, this person is definitely like that, this person. But my experience is that usually when women or people do this is because they have their own insecurities. So what they then end up doing is they projecting it onto you, because you started questioning yourself because she was dominating the room. She was just, and usually in those cases, these people, they really take charge of the room because they need to prove something to themselves. What happens then? You question yourself, and you shouldn't be questioning yourself. And for me, for me personally, I cut off from that. I'm like, You do you. Go on your journey and, find what's happening in your life, because you come to a point where you burnt out. Because remember, you're in contact with so many people. This happens with quite a few people. And people are going to start distancing themselves. So what are you going to say to everybody else? You're going to have to do some introspection, see what's going on inside of you, so that when you come into the room, that women shouldn't be, not intimidated, shouldn't shy away, or shouldn't not want to be in your presence.
Yeah.
It should be, we're here, it's lekker, we're going to see how we can bump off each other and elevate one another. So usually in that case, what I've seen is that these women, or people rather, have insecurities of their own that they deflect on you.
Hurt people.
Hurt people. But then now, okay, we understand that whole thing, and you said now, go on. You don't question yourself and things like that. But if you get it from more than one person, let's be honest, a lot of people is jumping on the independence, and independence comes with this confidence, and we misread confidence sometimes, and it becomes rude.
Arrogance.
It becomes arrogance. I like what Lee always says. She says, you're not she always says something like, you're not woke.
She
always says something like, there's a difference between being woke. No, being confident or being woke or something like that. Whenever we speak in a room, she always says there's a fine line when you take something a bit too far. So I'm saying, if I'm a person and in general I'm somebody, and you've told me you're transparent, but you now told me everything that's wrong. I walk into the next room, Jay says she's transparent because she's this confident person. I need to put you on your place because I need to stand up for myself, because that's also what's happening. We're doing this whole feminism thing where it is stand up for yourself in so many terms, but when you do stand up for yourself, you tramp on so many toes, and you don't realize who you're hurting in the interim of you being confident. So what does that do to the other people around you mentally? Because you say, you don't take that to mind, move on with your life, don't question yourself. But if you receive that by 10 people in one day, for example, or within a week, what does that do to your mindset as a person?
I have to say that over the past 2 years, I've noticed that the more isolated everybody became, the more hyper... I don't want to say aggressive, or I don't know if people became more microaggressive or hyper-aggressive because of the isolation. It's like we all became 1,000 times more whatever we are, and it amplified a bit. I mean, I keep referencing this thing, guys, because it taught me a lesson. I mean, I posted a post about a energy drink that I just liked at the time because of the flavor. And the pushback that I got after that was just interesting. And I was like, but I'm posting this on my profile. I was talking about it. And then other people were talking about, how can you post stuff like that? How can you whatever? And I didn't get it. And, just like you were referring to now, sometimes it's just an energy. Like, if what you're saying is, if there's an undertone of, I want to put somebody in their place, or who do you think you are, or I'm right and you are wrong, those are not good conditions for social cohesion and for fostering an environment where we all feel engaged, and there's a lot of it lately. You can't tweet anything without someone clapping back.
Cancel culture.
It's just cancel culture everywhere. And to me, it's very distressing, because the more we know, the more we think we are the expert on every topic, the more we think, we get into these isolated places, our own bubble. And then when we get out into the world, we forget that someone else is also a person like me, So it's almost just like we're all bubbles walking around hurting each other,
Because this whole thing is pushed, the whole narrative is being pushed about, you must be confident, you are a good person and you can do this, and that is good. That encouragement and empowerment, I think, is very good. But anything in life, if there's too much of something, it's not good. If you put too much of a good thing into something, it becomes toxic. It becomes, there's a whole saying, let's fix each other's crowns, right? But who said my crown needs fixing? What I'm saying is that how do you know my crown needs fixing? Or is it just you being obnoxious because you don't like the little slant in my crown? What if that is how I wanted my crown?
Want the tilt.
Yeah.
I want the tilt, or I want my tiara a little at the back. So, what reasoning are you applying when you move my crown? And I think that part doesn't get explained or doesn't get pushed either because there's balance. So if we're in a room and I think like, oh no, Jess, the way you're just handling this and what you're saying, your opinions are just not right. Maybe you should say it like this.
Why are we sounding like Karen?
No, what I'm saying, because that is like the personified. And Jess is like, you know what? This is my work. This is how I do. This is my personality. So I'm confused. How are you bothered by how I?
Yeah.
Did you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I go back to this moment. Oh, guys, I've been really enjoying Real Housewives of Durban. I'm a bit behind, but there was a moment that I loved. Among all the drama, there's a lady, Sorisha Naidu, and Ayanda Mwane. So Ayanda had said in a previous moment that they had with the ladies that she doesn't like to eat food given on a plate to her because her family has experienced poisoning before. So if she goes to an event, she'd rather eat from a buffet where she's putting the food. So they were at I almost said a funeral. They were at a celebration and someone came to her with the plate and then she took the plate, but then she said, I'm not going to eat. So it caused like a stir. Now, when Sorisha and Ayanda were together, alone, they were laughing, clack, 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 about some other stuff. And then they came to that topic. And Ayanda was explaining what's happened to her family. And Sorisha, with so much love, said to her, but Ayanda, just think about it for a second. If people prepared this thing, couldn't you have said in the beginning, like before you got to the event, if you have any plated food, I won't be eating. That way it wouldn't... then the hosts know.
Yeah.
And Sorisha spoke with so much love that Ayanda, who's generally like, she's always ready with something to say, she didn't even take offense to that. She was just saying, oh, okay, I never really thought of it that way. But usually with black people, like, she mentioned that. She was like, no, but usually black people do it like this and like that and etc. But I watched that moment between them versus how many other confrontational moments that the ladies had when someone openly, transparently said something and then there was a clap afterwards. So I think energy is the differentiating factor between
In those
honesty and then just malice, just being a spiteful...
And then also, is something necessary to be said? Like,
Is there a point?
Yeah.
Why are you saying it? Is it going to help this person? Or are you just saying it for everybody to know where your faults is, like you said? Because many a times people that is so transparent speak in front of a crowd. They don't take you to the side and say, listen, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
They try and make it means that
diminish
everybody
you, yeah.
knows what you did wrong. Anyway... Guys, I forgot about the cocktails today. Obviously, Jess will laugh because this cocktail, you can see I didn't make it.
Ha! That wasn't... Wait. That was not the conversation. Jess.
These are unfair terms here. Yeah.
I will not
Unfair
stand
terms.
for this.
When
Shame.
I was given
Shame.
watermelon.
Shame. They tried their best, but already I always put the sugar here. That's how you know it's me.
Okay.
I was
So,
given watermelon and ice.
Wait, Jess. I don't think this is fair. Let us put the disclaimer there. Let us put the terms and conditions. So we went into this, me and Jess, it was a partnership, right? So we went into this partnership, with terms and conditions. And the terms and conditions were that we blame Venge eventually. She will take her out.
I'll take my out,
Okay.
but if they're not drinking, you know why.
Just know that we are not mixologists out here. Venge is the mixologist out
And
here.
Cleo helps me a lot. She's like too much.
And so I'm just saying that I think we did well. Toast to us.
Cheers to the undrinkable.
I was gonna patent this.
Let's jump to the next topic. Okay, so next topic, everybody's speaking about the Riky, I almost said Ricky like.
Riky Rick.
The Riky
Macaro.
topic, okay. But I want to bring it up in the terms of, as much as this, every time people do commit suicide or something like that, there's a stink on it. But when it's someone famous, it somehow gets glamorized in a way that sometimes is good, but too much of it goes a bit too far. Me meaning, like, people only then focus on the speculations, and nobody then focuses on the what can we do to help the next person.
Yeah.
So when something like this happens, everybody's been going through Rick's Instagram, and they're trying to
Find
Connect the dots.
messages.
yeah, and they like, this one was crying, yeah, in this one it looks like a fake smile, and so
It gets scrutinized too much.
it gets through. And then the point of it being, where were you in your life to have taken this action, drastic action? So I want to speak to you guys about it being in the everyday life kind of a thing, in terms of, you don't just wake up one day and say,
Boom, I'm gonna do it
today I decide I'm going to kill myself, right?
Well, basically, you don't live a good life and then just wake up and like you've got happy thoughts the whole time, and then just
And
wake
then-
up one day and then you do
So
it.
when I was speaking about the topic, I was saying, I always use myself as an example. I'm not somebody that hides behind. My life is not perfect in any way. But in terms of with me personally, when it comes to thinking about suicide, this is where I'm getting to. Just understand the reasoning when I say your everyday suicide, mental health. I have a daughter who is deaf, and I go to therapy every week, and my husband works full time, so obviously it's me running up and down. I drop the kids, I bath the kids, I dress the kids, I take them to school, I do my life as well. When you get home, you clean. If I don't cook, we buying takeouts, those kind of things. And sometimes it gets so much as a woman, and you feel like maybe life would be better without me. You think when we're in a financial struggle, you think like, maybe if there's one mouth less to feed, everything will be better. And the reason why I'm speaking about my experience is because people think about certain things every day when it comes to, I've thought about killing myself before. Whether you have a family member or whether anything, people do go through something and think maybe life would be better without me. Whether it be in any circumstance, I'm just explaining mine when it gets too much as a mother. And I'm not going to lie, I lose myself a lot in motherhood. I start shouting a lot. I'm not the same person that's calm. We were speaking about it the other day in marriage. You was explaining in marriage, you don't recognize yourself sometimes. And with kids, it's heightened because you end up screaming, don't do that, da-da-da. And sometimes you say things that you really don't mean. And it comes out in a way where you start questioning yourself, do I want my child to grow up in an environment like this? Do I want my child to be around me because I'm realizing I can't control my anger? And the smallest thing sets me way up high. And then you start questioning, maybe if I'm not here, my husband can meet somebody and they can have a happy family. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And those kind of things go through I'm a normal person, mind every day. Then you have somebody who just feels unloved. And they feel maybe if I'm gone, my family will be happier. You have kids that know their parents are still together because of them. And they feel maybe if I'm not here, they can be happy because they can go their separate ways. They're only together because of me. And these are the kind of small things I'm speaking about in your everyday life things, how it gets to you feeling like you're suicidal. What you guys, just jump in, because we spoke about it already in terms of where we want to go with the topic.
I think it's got so many layers, and that's a big layer. There was a lady at my church who was just so full of life. Like she was just, and it's even difficult to speak about. She just radiated life. And we had a 31-year anniversary conference in December. I saw her, and it was raining. The service was going to be outside, but now we had to move it inside because of the weather. And I saw her there, and I was like, Miriam, like, how are you? You know, and we spoke. And I could see she is going through a difficult time. She did mention the stuff about her mom being sick and all of that. But, you know, pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain. Come on, producer. She's like ready.
She just brought tissues to the table.
You know, pain is difficult to hide, but easy to hide. And one thing I don't want to, you know, box everything into the pandemic, but you know, the one main evil of this thing was pushing everyone so deep into their own issues, you feel like you don't have time to look around you. Now that day, I wasn't I'm listening to her speaking, but for some reason I didn't hear what she was saying. She was speaking about, you know, the difficulties in the family, whatever, but she was speaking it with a smile. I still remember that smile to this day. And 4 weeks later, we heard that she took her own life, you know? And the first thing everyone was thinking was, but how? Why on earth would she think that her not being here
Would make things okay.
would make things better? And the answer is very simple. You know, pain is like a cancer, and sometimes you just want the pain to stop. And the thought that if I just take this step to remove myself, I won't feel what I'm feeling anymore. It's a physical crippling. It's a mental crippling. And to make matters even worse, Miriam was the kind of person who had a lot of depression and anxiety talks. She had been educating so much of the community, and it was just like, but we don't understand. The very thing she was trying to get people to not do, she was putting that light into the world because of all the stuff that she was enduring. She wanted the pain to stop. And I just go back to this thing that Joyce Meyer always says, is that, you know, life is like a battle. It's a battle to open your eyes. It's a battle to continue with your life. It's a battle to feel what you feel and then still rebut yourself every day in your head and then still try to accept God's love and all of this. So the only thing I have to add to this, you know, is just the other layer to the onion that you're talking about is also sometimes just wanting the pain to stop, whatever the pain is. And it could be seeds planted from certain scenarios and circumstances. You know, it could be the result of so many things. But when I heard the news about Riky, it felt so heavy, Vange. And somebody on my Instagram, I had posted about Riky. This guy, I know him, he used to watch the Purpose Pioneer talk show all the time. He comments on what I said, and then he said there, I feel so triggered by Ricky's passing. I feel like I might be next to just take my life. And I said, this is really indicative of a problem of people who are enduring pain alone and who feel like my pain doesn't matter. And because my pain doesn't matter, if I remove myself from the scenario, maybe things will be better for them and better for me. And that is not the way. It's just not the answer. It's just not. And, you know, in a period of the past 3 months, I can tell you on 2 hands the amount of people that I know who committed suicide, you know.
Okay, so before I give my opinion, I just want to read. Cleo has been commenting. Her first comment
Oh
was,
yes, Cleo is supposed to be on today's show, but she was tested positive, so she's contributing from the chats. Thank you, Cleo.
Reading some of Rick's comments made me realize how many people don't understand what a dark space you're in when you get to considering suicide. People in that space suffer for a long time before getting there, and when you're there isn't always something that you can save. Oftentimes we don't want to die, we just don't want to hurt anymore, basically,
like you were saying.
Resonating with what you're saying. And for me, this is why it's so important, having lost people in my life, not specifically to suicide, but you come to realize how fragile life is. You come to realize that when you were with this person, or you did something with this person, you realize maybe I could have done something differently, maybe I could have said something differently, maybe I should have called more, and I think that people did that the same with him on the social post. He was such a nice guy, You know, and some other people were posting to say that, guys, a couple of weeks ago we were ridiculing this guy when he posted a few pictures, and now this has happened. And where I'm going with the point is that sometimes we just need to be kinder, because people act from a place. So, okay, the video was awkward, but what happened in that video? You don't know what happened between the two. You don't know what happened to his wife. You don't know the circumstances. And we have a tendency to just think that we're entitled to our opinion. We are. But is it okay to just voice it to the person who's involved? No, it's not okay. You don't know where that person is. So what I'm saying is that sometimes it's okay to just be kind, even for us as women, going back to the everyday life. I mean, you know how I feel about putting on my makeup, right? I don't leave the house. And for me, it's like I dread the comment if I were to leave the house without my makeup. And people are like, are you okay? You look a bit sick over there. You know, did you get some sleep? You know, you don't know what frame of mind that person is. I just woke up. My kids didn't sleep last night. I've got to mom, I've got to wife, I've got to, help her out here. I've got so many hats that I need to wear. I am just trying to swim and just keep my head above the water. And now you come and my confidence is far down in my shoes. I'm just, trying to get to a space of peace. And now, are you okay? Do you need to eat? Do you need a hug? And it's not said with love.
Or you look tired.
You look so
You
tired.
look tired.
That one.
I look tired.
That one. And this became my reply. Look, get used to it. Standard feature. And then I'd walk away. Because I'm like, so you don't realize that I look in the mirror every morning. You don't,
Yeah.
It doesn't occur to you. So what I'm saying is that be nice, say something nice, like, find something else. If my face is not your concentrating point, then you're wearing nice shoes or your hair looks good today. Find something nice to say, because you don't know if that is the last words you'll be saying to this person. A couple of years back, my parents owned a butchery, and I was standing behind the cash register and I was helping this girl, and I just thought she was absolutely gorgeous. She had this long flowy hair, and she was still in school. She was quite a few years younger than I was. And she came to the cash register, I was cashing up and everything, and then she looked at me, but she had like this sorrowful eyes, like it was, and something told me, speak to her, but I couldn't bring myself. I was like, what do I say to her? Because she was younger than I was. It wasn't that I was intimidated. I was just trying to find, so hi, how's the weather? I didn't know what to say to her. The very next day, she'd committed suicide. Like, not even. And it was like, okay, so maybe I would have been the one that would have given her a kind word. Maybe I would have been the one that would have given her, like, escape for, like, maybe her pain. Maybe she could have said something. And she was young. She was 18 at the time. So you ask yourself, guys, yes, other people aren't always nice. That's true. There's funny characters out there, and there's people that aren't nice. But where are they acting from? From which space in their lives is that coming from? Is that anger coming from? Is that short, ugly answer coming from? Or is that nasty remark coming from? Where is it coming from? From some insecurity. Someone did something to them years ago and they didn't. I'm not saying we must go out and understand everyone, but if we can be kinder, maybe we can save someone else's life.
Yeah. I remember there was a time where we were doing a hosting competition thing. And I remember when the interview I had done with this one individual, I was asking myself, because there's like the pre-roll, there's the behind the scenes. And behind the scenes, you can feel, but this person is not like they usually are, But now you in this thing, whatever, and you like trying to, your mind is focused on something else. And I remember interviewing the individual and just feeling like why is this person, it's not, something doesn't feel right. But now I'm getting angry because I'm like, oh, okay, that interview was just horrible. I got back into the car with one of my colleagues, and the guy said, here's something that nobody actually knows, is that he's actually going through a divorce. And I was like, oh my word. And it further reflects to me, I'm someone, I microanalyze every conversation that I have when I'm driving home. I'm like, that thing that I said, did that go well? Or like whatever. It sounds so silly, but it's tricky to not put blame on ourselves, because on 702, I think it was yesterday, on the show that comes after 1:00, there was a mental well-being catch-up. And this lady was just taking everybody through the motions of the people who are left behind after somebody's suicide. And one of the biggest and heaviest things to deal with is blame.
Yeah.
Society has all been blaming themselves for what happened with Riky. Like, people are blaming the ones who were commenting on the video of him dancing with his wife. Others were commenting on, yeah, this is this thing that you said to him, and this is, and it. What she was saying was, that's one of the biggest and most hurtful things about suicide is now everyone starts to feel like, could I have done something better? Could I have? And the hardest part is realizing that the individual was dealing with things that no one, unfortunately, will understand. So like you're saying, the mental well-being of fighting through every day and all the things that are too hard to talk about and just being here all the time. We need to talk. Sometimes not to even get a solution, but just to feel like my experience matters.
Yeah.
And this pain that I'm feeling, you know, it can come out somewhere. People in society don't talk about the thing. Everyone goes, men are trash, men are trash, men are trash. But no one speaks about the things that leads to men getting to a point where they lash out in so much anger on the very people that they love. And one of the biggest reasons is pain that has nowhere to come out.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come out somewhere, you know. So I'm just in the space where I'm like, we were talking as friends with my friends the other day, and we said, even if we annoy each other, let's just talk.
Yeah.
You know? If you are going through something, just come here. Like, we'll deal with it here, but we can't lose each other like this.
But I also want to say, like, in terms of, because before the show, Cleo obviously was supposed to be on the show, Cleo. And she wanted to bring across the point of how people who think about suicide or have committed suicide is labeled as selfish.
Yeah.
So, yes, we saying now the pain, and let's be honest, when you do tell someone how you're feeling and you're like, I'm not feeling well, I thought about killing myself or something, the feedback you get is not really positive feedback. It's a keep quiet, we don't speak about things like that. How can you think about something like that? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, think about this, life is better, this, pray, what. Do you think that we're not doing that? Yeah. On day to day? We also trying to swim, we paddling, do you know what I'm trying to say? So she wanted to bring the point of what's your take about people being stigmatized as selfish when it gets so much that they take their own lives, and what's left behind, you say there's blame, but on top of the blame, why didn't he think about his children?
Yeah.
Why didn't he think about his wife? Why didn't all those kind of things is bubbled as selfish? Yeah. How are we not double-minded? Because at the same time, you're blaming somebody if we were more kind, but in the same breath, but, you know, I hate that word, but.
Just nullifies whatever was said.
Whatever was said.
Yeah.
Why didn't he A, B, and C? And I think even then, there's no winning.
No, not at all. I don't want to blanket it, you know, because none of us here are you know, clinical psychologists or psychiatrists or any of that. So none of what we are saying here, you know, we are just speaking from the heart. You know, it's important to just put that disclaimer there. But what I have found is that because everyone, man, you know, you'll hear about somebody who is taking care of 3 children. One has Down syndrome and is going through puberty as a Down syndrome child, has to take care of all the other children and this one and the husband and the family and have a career and somehow seem sane and still have time to like take care of yourself and all of that. And you ask that person, how are you doing? Like, how are you getting through that? Maybe, you know, somebody else, let's say, for example, might be a grandmother who took on all of the family responsibility when the children pass away. Now there's grandchildren, barely is making enough money and has to take care of the whole family, you know, that's left behind, and somehow still has to carry through each day. When you now, I don't know, we all have whatever it is that gets us through what we are carrying. Now, when you hear someone just decided in whatever state they were in, to let go. Those people will question from a responsibility point of view. And sometimes it seems like it's mean, but sometimes it's coming from just, again, the pain that suicide leaves. It's like, because we have to speak about this, like that guy who commented on my post on Instagram. When one does it, it triggers the other one that, but I'm also carrying too much. So sometimes out of not thinking, people just speak, man. They're like, but how could they just leave their wife and the kids? And many fathers were tackling that subject with regard to Riky, and I was like, before we come there and talk about the responsibility that this person was handling, who checks on the strong people? Who checks on the strong people, And it's a quote. People tweet it and WhatsApp story all the time. They check on your strong friends. But do we really check on our strong friends? Do we really? So sometimes that comment, it comes, but I don't think people really process that thought to think it through before they say that.
They say something.
And
I think it's completely unfair. I mean, if I have to take myself, who goes and takes a knife and just like randomly cuts their hand or stubs their toe? What I'm trying to say is, you don't go in to hurt yourself like randomly, intentionally. I am mortified when I have a paper cut, and my whole hand is off for the rest of the day. What I'm trying to say is that someone who goes to the extent of harming themselves to no return, they cannot be in an okay frame of mind. They cannot be in a sane frame of mind where they reason like you and I, in terms of, I'm not going to stub my toe. They're not reasoning like that. So to also say that this person is what did we say? Selfish. Is unfair. Because there's so many different types of dynamics that's at play here. For instance, maybe just one thought that be going through this person's mind is what you mentioned. My child is screaming, or my child needs this, my child needs that. Maybe it's better if I'm not here and my husband can find someone else. What if that is an example of a thought? Other people might have a thought of, what if I put my kids in, the foster people will come, or my parents will come they'll have a better life there, but I need to take myself out of the situation. There's so many thoughts that go through this person's mind that's not rational. So how are we saying it's selfish? Selfish would be defined by the fact that I willingly and I knowingly, all the thoughts and all the facts together, and I decided not to do it, or I decided I won't take part in this because I feel this way. I feel if there's rational thought involved, then maybe, but there's not rational thought. It's unfair to say that.
Yeah. So
that's my personal.
It's a hectic topic, and you can have like a whole conversation on it. But do you want to move on, or do you want to keep going?
Yeah, and I think maybe to just wrap up this topic is just to say, Yella, speak. Just speak, please. Talk to somebody, a pastor, a counselor, and there is, I don't know if anyone can find the suicide
the letter
number. If
or
we
number.
can just find
it is in the description. I think,
yes.
Lee, did you put it there yet? Did I send it to you? Okay, I'll send it to you now.
Okay.
Cleo did find us all the links already.
Yay.
So we'll put it in the description, and then if you are struggling with anything or having thoughts or anything, you can put it there. And then Cleo just wants to put the conclusion there. If you can read it, please. My eyes can't see it.
Yes, we are here. Another point for people to keep in mind is that if you're struggling, you are validated in your need for help. I had to be told often that I deserve to be helped, even when it seems that there are other people. That other people are worse off than you. You can have all the money and the friends in the world, but sometimes depression is hereditary, and it's an imbalance of chemicals in your brain.
Righto. So please do get help, and we're here for all these conversations, and I love the fact that here it's just like an open space where we can talk about it. So
be kind, guys.
Yeah,
be
kind.
But I also totally feel that with people that say there's people worse off than you.
Yeah.
Why must
person.
Why must there be a measure?
Why must there be a measure of my pain versus your pain?
No. I'm that person. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, no, things could be worse. Like, meaning...
Yeah, but if
weighing
you
up-
say that to yourself and you say
Weighing
things
up.
could be worse, but if you speak to somebody and somebody says to you, there's
that's
people
mean.
worse off than you, so deal with it. I've been told that before.
That's mean, I'm sorry. But I think what Leo was trying to also highlight is the fact that we say this, so we measure to ourselves, you know what, yours is not that bad, someone else is worse than yours, so just, deal with it. When are you really in the capacity to actually deal with it? And do we really know our threshold?
No, you don't.
So speaking of threshold, there's a lot of ladies who didn't know what the threshold was. So it was like, where is my money? So apparently, guys, South Africa has its own Tindler Swindler, Amon Namara, and we still need to question whether this is his real identity or if the identity that he used with these women, it's all a cloud of smoke at the moment.
The plot thickens.
The plot thickens. So this guy would meet women on Tinder, and looks like he had a very good way of sussing out when a woman is of well means, and would go on dates with these women. In his Tinder profile, he would say, oh, I own these cars and I'm in this kind of business, etc. And the women go on the dates with him. Initially, they are reluctant. And this is what I find interesting about any swindler.
Yeah.
They just have these powers of persuasion. Maybe he'd take off his shirt. I don't know. I wasn't there. But so much persuasion. And what he would do is take these women on expensive dates. And this is the key in grooming people, is you want them to feel safe. And you want them to feel like there's this aura of wealth about you. So it takes them on expensive dates.
Because we all want money.
Exactly. So chats turns into, okay, more dates, and then let's go on holiday. So I'm going to take you on this amazing holiday. I just need help with some cash. So I'll put up the rest. I just need maybe 16K, 20K for the whatever, And then these women are like, oh, okay, cool. I'll put that up. Get to the airport. Get to the airport. Bags are packed, waiting for this guy. This guy doesn't come. Now that's the story of one of the women. And ever since that moment, she tried to confront him. Where's the money? Obviously now it becomes that weird ghosting, silence, only speak now and then game type of situation. So what he would do is con one woman and then use the money from the holiday that didn't happen to con the next woman and the next woman and the next woman. And it's funny that the woman who went to the cops here in South Africa, she thought she was the only one.
Yeah.
And more stories started to come out, and this guy got arrested last week. The story was in the City Press. He actually robbed one of the women as well. Took like stock from her store, I think to the value of 60,000 Rand. And overall, of all the women that he swindled, looks like they said on Newsroom Africa this morning, it amounts to 3 million Rand. 3 million Rand. One woman to the next, to the next.
So,
to the next, to
did
the
this
next.
happen before Tindler Swindler came out, or did it
Looks like
happen
it's-
during?
Looks like it's been happening long before.
Okay.
So I think this is a moment to really, really be like, okay, if someone takes you on an expensive date, it doesn't mean anything.
It
Have you
doesn't.
seen their credit record? Have you seen their invoices, their money? I think it's so easy in this day, and you don't know if
Are
they
you
rented
paying
their
with
car.
cash, or is it a card?
Also, what if the
All
car
that
that they
glitters is
have
not gold.
is rented? Like, this is scary to me.
Because he's rocking a Brabus there, I mean, I don't think nobody would be rocking. You wouldn't be renting that. I think maybe it's
Yeah.
a friend, something maybe. I mean,
So what's really
Could
interesting
be
is that
renting it. We know someone that rents out those things to those people.
okay, you're right.
and law
I retract.
enforcement, they don't even want to bring out too many of the details, because the anchor this morning was asking a lot of questions, and then they were saying we can't bring out too much of the details because it's still under investigation. But I was wondering, if the original Tindler Swindler were arrested so early, I mean, what would have happened there? Would we even know his story by now?
Look, you must remember the original Tindler Swindler when we've already covered this. He wasn't arrested on the fact that he was swindling people, ladies. He was arrested on the fact that he was traveling under false documentation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually surprised that they're actually doing something about it here because, hello, welcome to South Africa. Everything is permissible
And
here.
he's originally from Ghana. So I'm not sure if he has citizenship in South Africa, but looks like there's that dual living of countries, etc.
For me, I'm not gonna lie now. I think as women today, we need to also start looking at what are we looking for in a man. and stop allowing the Instagram lifestyle to take over what we expect, because that is how we're getting the woman, basically. We being a man. But that is how the target. And also you as a woman, everything you post, you're posting your LV bag, you're posting those things. It opens up the door because these people do their research. And like you say, he knows exactly who has the money.
They were saying that they think this guy, when he sees the names of these women on Tinder, he's going to do research on them to find out what kind of business are they, and then that's when he goes for his.
Look, we can't negate, and by no means am I glorifying this or saying, validating this, but we have to look at these con men's business skills. They have business skills. I'm just saying, look, if it was put to positive use, I think he would have been a brilliant businessman. But at the same time, I think how we were raised is that, Michael, when you grow up, find yourself a good, wealthy man so he can take care of you. This is subconsciously driven into our minds. Now you come to social media and, everything, no one posts ugly on social media. Nobody. Everyone's posting something nice on social media. So now it's like, that also drives that narrative of, I also want to be part of this. I also want to show the world I'm also doing well. So now when you do meet a man, it ticks the box for finances. Yeah. Okay, now let's see if he's he's taking me on holiday. Okay, yeah. For me personally,
and Jay says he takes his top off.
For me personally, if I'm putting a cent to this holiday, how long are we together? Are we a year together? Are we 2 years together? How long are we together? Because me, I'm not paying for anything. I'll pay for your drink. I'll add to your drink, but I'm the type.
But not a holiday.
Not a holiday. No, this is why you're the man. This is why you decided you wanted
But you
to be
were
in a
saying in the
relationship.
articles that it says that where some people realize something's up is they also ask for their money back.
Yes.
So when he takes it, he's also borrowing the money.
Yeah.
I don't have 16,000, but that's probably why he ain't calling me.
And what he would do is with the one lady, I think it was overall, it was about 25 to 30,000 rand, but it wasn't a lump sum altogether.
Yeah.
It was little asks here and here and here and here. And what really
Good
angered
business
me?
model.
What angered me was there was a guy who commented on one of the articles and who said, I honestly don't understand why this guy is being arrested because he hasn't done anything wrong. And I was like, in my head, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, excuse me, having a fight in my mind with this person where there's that undertone of these women asked for it or they... And I'm so tired of that perception.
I have a spanner in the works, though. I have a spanner, and crucify me. I know I'm going to be crucified after being
Here we
saved. Like, just from a perspective, look, we're on the Me Too movement, we're on the gender equality movement, we're on we're on this bandwagon. So let me throw it to you, right? So, if a woman is in this relationship or whatever, and it's expected of this guy, it's expected of him to furnish you with the bags, the LV bags, or we must go out on dates or whatever. That is the mentality of society. That's the order of things. What if this man just reversed the roles? Like, I'm also a guy. I'm also an entity in this relationship. Why is it okay for a woman to do that? So, because let's be honest. Let's be honest. If the roles were the reverse, now remember, there's a element of malice here because he's intentionally taking their money and promising them something else, right? That's the element of malice there. But what I'm saying is that let's paint a picture of a woman and a guy. They're in this relationship together, and she says, I really want these shoes. This Jimmy Choo's shoes are like 6,000 rand, and I want the wig. The wig is so much 1,000 rand, so it amounts to. So will you buy it for me? What makes it different? I'm just asking for a friend.
Hey, that's now a spanner. Yeah?
You're asking for a friend. So no one is here to answer the friend.
So I think it would just be interesting to see where this case goes. Apparently his bail application is today. So I wonder. I just wonder.
Let's see
But
where it goes.
I am surprised. I think stuff like this should be taken seriously because there's so many other cases that I'm sure didn't come out yet because the argument is that you didn't steal the money, you gave it willingly.
Yeah.
That's the argument. But I'm sure that the intent should be proved. Like, I mean,
the false pretense.
The false pretense.
Of a relationship, the false pretense of...
But the intent is not to take you on a holiday. Because remember, that's what I'm coming.
Because I'm standing there with my bags.
Yeah, I'm standing there with my bags. And you clearly haven't done anything. You haven't booked nothing. So what did you do with the money?
I'm phoning you. You are not answering your phone. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3
Yeah,
hours.
and you said in the article, it says that when they do phone, then he gets rude.
Yeah.
And he starts getting
I don't
threatening.
understand that about the con men, though. Why don't you just play out the con nicer? And what I mean by that is...
Block the call.
Do you get what I'm saying? So what I mean by that is I was also watching the show way before Tindler Swindler, right? And this guy, he conned the woman for like years on end. So he dated 2 women simultaneously, right? And then he's some trader and he'll be trading and he's just tired because he spent all night trading. Meantime, he was with Nancy on the other side and Sarki on this side is just waiting for him to come back. And when he does come, I'm so tired. But he'd borrow money from this one to sort of like keep this one on going, and then he'd borrow money from this one, so he'd pay his bill every now and then. And by the time he decided, you know what, I've conned enough money, like he'd keep some and pay some and keep some and pay here. So he basically like use the one to cover the other one, and then later on he'll work himself out and he's like, oh no, the relationship just died, he's on to his next con. You get what I'm
But
saying?
I don't understand then. Just find someone you like that is rich and live that lifestyle with someone you like, because
easier said than done.
because you're literally just using money here to go to that person there. It's still dating, but you're dating the next person with somebody else's money. Why don't we just use your money and date together?
Remember, for guys it's different. For guys, they are seen as the providers. I mean, women can just become a sugar baby. I'm just, and that's society says it's okay. Become a sugar daddy and a sugar baby. I mean, you get the money and you're just nice with this person. So yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Moving along. So, guys, Kanye has been in the news a lot, eh? And yesterday he released the Easy's, what do you call it, the soundtrack? The Easy's soundtrack's music video, right?
Uh-huh.
And I like his lyrics.
Yeah.
But then his music video was Pete. If you don't know who Pete is Kim's current boyfriend. And the music video is him literally using a clay figurine who looks like Pete, and he's burying Pete alive. And he even waters Pete, and this roses come out of Pete and everything. And then the music video ends with everyone lived happily ever after except, and then Skeet is
the nickname is given,
which is given, and it's scratched out and said, you know who, and then it says, just joking, just kidding, he's fine. That's how the music video ends. So we know that Kanye West takes everything far before he launches like a new album, a new single, a new anything. Do you think he's taking it too far with this music video? I made you guys watch the music video just now, so...
It's just Kanye, like, he's known for just being too much in everything. He's known to use the shock factor well. And he did.
I'm going to say it again. You guys even know what I'm going to say. In fact, you can even say it with me. Kanye needs a hug. That's all I have to say. It's just, I have to say, I'm a little bit... I understand shock value is good. It makes money. Mm-hmm. I'm just I have to express my disappointment in Kanye. You are sending out such positivity with your documentary and the trilogy with the genius. I mean, I've literally enjoyed every single episode and just marveled at, the journey of Kanye. I've marveled so much at Sunday service. I marvel so much at, what he's done in that space to bring hope to people. And I understand he's in a dark place, but I think there are places you must take your dark to. Don't put your dark on the whole world like that, especially at a time like this. So if I saw Kanye now, I'd literally just appeal to the best of him. And if you want to put shock factor, remember the internet doesn't forget. People don't forget. I just feel like you're a father right now. You're not the Kanye of 20 years ago. Like right now, if one of your children went through something like this with a partner or whatever, is this really the example that you want to set? And I'm not a parent. I don't want to speak on behalf of, but I just feel sometimes.
So wait, here's where I want to come in now. You just spoke like a whole 15 minutes just now about speak, guys. Speak. Let's hear you. But I mean in terms of he is an artist and this is his form of music.
Speaking.
This is how he does things. And now he's doing it in his own way.
But
he is speaking, because if you listen to the lyrics, all the lyrics is about how he's a parent and those kind of things and how life is not easy and things like that. I understand the music video is taking it too far, but it's his, what's the word that I can use, how he's bringing his story across, because we don't know what happened in the background. For all we know, this could be the guy that caused the...
I'm finding a different message there though, because he waters Pete. So
and
that speaks of life. So what I'm saying is, like, he waters
and
his roses
it
coming
grows
up.
roses comes out.
But the head was decapitated.
But it wasn't Pete's
No,
head.
it wasn't
that's
Pete's. Yeah.
I don't know, guys.
So what I'm saying, for me, I don't know what, I might be wrong, my interpretation might be wrong, but the end is telling me a whole different story. Everyone's okay except Pete. Just kidding, he is okay. Is Pete the only one that's okay? What I'm saying is that there's so much drama that is encapsulated in this family. Now Pete comes in. Pete seems to be the only one that's okay. So, because Kanye's off on his own tangent, so is Kim. The kids are not okay. The whole family, their whole careers.
Oh, I see where you're coming to.
Is off scandal and drama and all of that. And Pete is this, I wouldn't say everyday guy. I don't know the guy. But he seems to be the only one okay. He seems to be the only one that's okay.
He's a comedian.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, because he's watering Pete, and Pete seems to be growing flowers. So.
Look, I think for me, I watched the video. It felt really dark. I felt uncomfortable watching it. And that's the reference that I'm taking. And Vange, you're absolutely right. Like, for example, Beyonce came out with Lemonade, smashing cars, and there was the one
Becky
video
with the goodie
in Lemonade where everything was burning and it was red and it was ugly and it was whatever. But this is it's a visual attack on someone. Lemonade was her expressing her things,
emotions.
And you are absolutely right, Vange. Like, we should use our platforms of expression. You never know who might be relating to this. I'm not a father who's going through a divorce. I don't know what that feels like. If this is his way of expressing himself, okay, I understand. But for me, watching that, it felt very dark. And for me, it rings alarm bells. But then again, maybe he's just promoting his stuff.
For me, the decapitated head for me was okay.
It's random. I want to know whose head that is, though.
Whose
face is that?
Yeah, that for me is extremely dark. Who walks around with a decapitated? That's extremely dark. The coffin for me could, personally, in my opinion, could symbolize that was my life, and now, I need to say goodbye to it. There's a lot that you're laying to rest when there's a coffin there. So you can read into it
in many ways.
But for me, the decapitated head was like, okay, that is severely dark. That's really, murderous intent in my mind. But in terms of, for me, the sad thing of this video is that here you have a guy that didn't he denounce Christianity and all of that at some point when he was Jesus or something like that. I could be wrong, back in the day. Then he got saved, and then it was church and it was gospel music and it was, I'm a saved man, a new man right now, and he wanted to do a whole
Sunday service.
I almost said a Jim Jones. Sorry, the whole thing was just, a little cultic to me, but at the same time, there was a message because so many people followed this guy. So many people listened to his music, and now there's a positive message. Now, you're going 100 yards back with us. So the element of going from one extreme to the next extreme to the next extreme is like, so what are we really saying here? Where are we really going with this? Do we follow him? Is he a Christ follower? Is he not? Is he, it puts a lot of people in disarray, because they follow, like we said in so many previous shows, people follow these people mindlessly, you know?
But Vange,
the decapitated head is Pete's.
Is it Pete's? Oh, okay. It doesn't look like the same picture, so the same face.
Yeah. The one thing I did want to add
That's
there is that
disturbing. That's disturbing.
a lot of people have, people who've gotten divorced have expressed that it literally feels like something dies. You know, it feels like a death of the future, a death of a promise, you know, a death of all those things and terms that I could use. And perhaps in this expression, we are literally seeing Kanye's heart right now, in that there's anger, there's pain, there's, it is expressing all of that. I guess it's just, maybe
the
it's
depiction
just,
thereof.
it's
I
difficult
think maybe
for
if you
us
go
to see
through
it.
something similar, you would appreciate something like that. But if
Maybe.
you're not, then you're like, oh, but that's creepy. And you start looking at different things like that.
Yeah, I think our thought processes are guided by how we were raised, and this is dark, this is satanic, that is good, this is evil. So what he's doing is really just expressing visually what's going on in his emotions. And I think anyone to do that and someone to just interpret it, I think it's bewildering. You're like, I don't understand, you know.
Yeah.
I do think it's it's creepy, the whole the decapitated head, but it does it does water it at the end, where it then
And
grows
he does,
flowers.
at the end, he does walk with the scissor, but he doesn't do anything with the scissor. But it's like he's going to go garden now.
And also, it could be a matter of, you know, it could be a matter of he sees Pete as this person that, you know, it's a sly gekrap, you know, at the same time. So there's a lot of dynamics, and I always say, no matter how thin you slice it, there's always two sides to the
a story. Yeah.
Yes.
Like also the divorce isn't final yet, but her name change is final. So she took away the West, but the actual divorce is not finalized yet. And those kind of things. For me personally, I think Kanye should just go on with his life, because I think we would have forgotten about Kim long ago had it not been for Kanye. She changed so much in evolution, in her dress code and everything. And it's because Kanye made her wear Yeezy clothes. He made her relevant. And even when she started dating Pete, we forgot that Kim exists. He keeps reminding us, hi, there's a Kim out there, because then we want to know what's happening. But
He really loved.
I know that, but I'm just saying that she doesn't care. So just move on. And
I don't think. No. I think that's arguable. I think that's arguable. I don't think she doesn't care. I think she knows how he's wired, and she knows he helps to keep her in the life.
So this is another stunt again, like with the whole wedding dress thing, and she's actually helping him do this. Things we do. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. We are way over time. We hope to see you next week, Leo. We hope to see you next week. We hope to see you next week.
She says she missed the drinks. Cleo, be back next week, please.
Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed the topics today. And I know it was a bit more on the somber side, but when the originals are together, we touch everything. So thank you so much for joining. Hope to see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
They know,